welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter @Radio Detectives, and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/Great Detectives. If you've not already, I do encourage you to enter our Sherlock Holmes giveaway. Go to giveaway.greatdetectives.net. And enter to win some great Sherlock Holmes premiums or our upcoming t-shirt. Just go to giveaway.greatdetectives.net. Well, now it is time for this week's episode of The Adventures of Sam Spade. And for the second straight week, I have to apologize in advance for the quality of the audio. And this one is even worse. I think this may be the worst quality audio we had to work with all season. Obviously, Andrew will do what he can with it. But the original air date, January 25th, 1948, and the title is The Gold Key Caper.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Sam Spade, Detective Agency.
Spade, sweetheart.
Oh, hello, Sam. What are you doing?
Having breakfast, Abby.
Breakfast? But it's 7:30 in the p.m.
Well, it's not the serving world, sweetheart.
What was the problem, Sam?
Oh, a gold key to the door of her apartment. Figure out what it unlocks. Very complex case, Abby. Greed, passion, twisted ambition, hate, love, vengeance, and murders, all gamut. It was ghastly every now and then.
Well, Sam, maybe we ought to put off the report till morning when you're feeling fresher.
Oh, it's very considerate of you, sweetheart, but I'd like to get it off my chest now tonight. You want to help? Just be at your desk. And don't say anything when I come in. Just be there.
Sam, you sound so serious.
Just be, sweetheart. We'll see. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the gold key caper.
Now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Lazarus brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
Date, January 25, 1948. New homicide detail, San Francisco Police. Attention Detective Lieutenant Dundee from Samuel Spade, license on the 17596. Subject, the gold key caper. Dear Dundee, it started, as these things usually do, in my office when Effie Perrine, a doll of my other stolen, eased in, closed the door behind her, and leaned against it.
There's a girl outside.
A client or a client?
No, you run the car.
Did she come a long way to see me?
I don't think she's giving it to me.
I know, sweetheart, you never did. Sure is.
Okay. Will you please come in this car?
Right here, Miss Barnes.
You're so kind, Mr. I can see I come to the right place.
Yes, okay. That'll be all, Mr. Now then, what can I do for you, Miss Barnes?
Well, I haven't a great deal of money. I've brought a little cash with me. Would 300 be enough for you?
I won't haggle with you, Miss Barnes. Thanks. Now, what's the story that goes with it?
How much do you know about a man named Dundee?
About as much as the police know. You know more?
I'm afraid I don't even know that. I didn't even know what he was until one evening 2 years ago. That was the last time I saw him. His name was Sam. I was deeply shocked. But I thought I should stand by him.
As I remember, the rap was 3 to 5 years breaking it up.
Yes, I promised to wait for him.
You didn't quite make it.
Well, in a way, you're probably right. When I heard he was coming out of prison, I just can't think.
Have you got a lead, Tom?
Oh, it wouldn't make any difference. He'd find me wherever I went.
Can't say that I blame him. What's so funny?
You're afraid of me,
No, not dangerous. Not yet.
Are you always there? Never.
That depends.
Oh.
Yeah. On how many other stats you handle, like this county receipts, and how many other stats have helped you get out from under.
Really? There must be some other type of detective.
Okay, here's your money.
And I won't go. You can't turn me away like this. What little things I told you. Wilson, you were talking to me like when I put my trust in you.
That's a lousy attitude. Now look at it. What do you want me to do?
Well, he's arriving in San Francisco this afternoon. He'll come to my office. He said he would. I haven't been seeing him or seeing answers yet. That's myself that you've been killing that. Oh, you knew, Johnny.
Well, I don't. You said you didn't until the cops came in.
But I didn't. I didn't know he was wrong. I just thought he was a gambler like anybody. And then about his back. Whenever he's angry, he just goes crazy. I wanted to see the young fellow, not I. And I was going to write and then tell him in prison. But then I was afraid he'd break out and take things worse for himself. But now...
Now you really got to fix.
Yes, but I can't.
And you want me to hold a gun on him while you get in the air?
Oh, you say it like that. Maybe you should. But I just can't go back to it. I can't. I just knew that you were sorry and frustrated. And I've been finished.
For how long? Look. Look, let's say something first. After dinner, don't we?
I was wrong. You're not afraid of me. You're not afraid of anything.
What's the address?
1234 Van Ness, apartment 21.
What time you doing?
It's just getting on street.
I'll be there at quarter up. Budget 4 times. Long, short, long, short.
No, don't use it. I don't want anything to say. Here, take this. Step yourself in.
Gold key. Johnny. Forever. Don't worry, Angel. Don't worry. You can put a new name on there. This was not engraved very deep. After she'd drawn, a heavy fragrance clung to everything she touched. The chair she sat in, my glass with her lipstick on it, the $300, even the gold key. I rubbed it up against my coat sleeve. The name didn't come off. It only shone brighter. I threw it across the room just to see if it would bounce. It did. And when I walked over to pick it up, there were 2 keys, or at least 1 1/2. The gold shank had been hollowed out, and the key that fitted inside it was wrong again, Dundee. Not a glass key, a brass key with a number on it, 322, nothing else. I wondered if Johnny Batiste had been living a double life, or at least 1 1/2. I was still wondering when I slipped the brass key back into its hiding place and used the gold one to unlock the door of Wanda's apartment. The room was full of her perfume, but she wasn't there. Johnny Batiste was. He was cleaning the prison dirt out of his fingernails with a shiny new spring blade knife.
Give that key.
What for? You're in. Where's Wanda?
She changed her mind. She don't want to see you.
Who changed it for?
I did. I told her she shouldn't ought to marry into the wrong set. So give me that key as well.
Where is she, in here?
I told you to blow. She don't want to see you.
Oh, Mr. yourself. You're stir happy.
Spade. I've been rotting that Spade hotel 3 years to get pushed around. Why do you think I took that rap?
You took it for her. You're crazy. She was through with you before you went up.
I just go on talking like that. Go on. I'll cut you. I'll cut you real bad. Copper.
Johnny, I don't want to hurt you, so don't try. Well, good night, Johnny. Come on.
Copper. Oh.
The first thing you ought to learn about civilian life, Johnny, is don't jump somebody until you know what it's all about. What did she tell you?
Forget it. You'll get this cheaper than I did. But she's 3 years older. So am I.
Listen, Johnny, here's my card. If there's any way I can help you, let me know, will you? I mean it.
Well, you got a heart. They gave me $50 when they pushed me out the gate, but I dropped it in the poker game down at 6th and Mission. Right off the bus. Sucker. Johnny Batiste.
You need some dough, Johnny?
No, nothing that ain't mine. Hey, that key is mine. My name's on it. They couldn't do nothing to me if I hopped that, could they? Now, the 10 or 15. That's solid gold. They'll give me a place to flop until I get my feet underneath again.
Yeah, like you say, your name's on it. Here, take it. You can have your knife, too.
You're all right guy. I'm sorry for the things I said.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's Wanda?
I don't know. I haven't seen her. I don't want to see her. So long, sucker.
to the window and watched him leave the building. He didn't cough when the cold air hit him. Instead, he took a deep breath and strode swiftly across the street and into a neon-lighted bar and grill. Something about his swagger bothered me. Giving him the gold key might or might not have been as smart a move as I thought it was, but I was sorry I'd given him back his knife. Sam Spade, sucker. About here, Dundee, I decided to start acting like a detective for a change. I took a chance on Johnny the Thief being thirsty enough after 3 years to keep his elbow crooked at the bar long enough for me to frisk Wanda's apartment. I didn't think I'd find her body there, but I did. I deduced that it was in the clothes closet from the feeble cries and puffings I heard as I walked into the bedroom.
Oh, stand over. Oh, I've never forgiven myself anything that happened to you.
What happened to you, eh?
Where were you standing?
You slipped in the closet.
When I heard you putting up the tent.
Why?
Well, you were coming any minute, and I had to say something, so I told him you were going to marry me.
Oh, that's fine. Well, here we are.
Oh, but that's not all I said. Oh, you'll never forgive me for this. I know. How can I tell you? I told him you forced me.
Thanks a lot. How did I force?
By threatening to go to parole board so they wouldn't let Johnny out.
I must have a lot of influence.
Yes, and that way he thought I was protecting him, so he didn't hurt me. Only this little thing. But it's just me because... Well, it's nothing, really. Only a little bit funny. Oh, but if you only knew what it was like standing there in that dark, not knowing what he was doing to you. Oh, sorry.
You think any more about it?
Oh, you do forgive me, don't you?
About that gold key, Angel, I think you could have changed the lock on the door.
Why?
I gave it to Johnny.
You? Oh, no, you're fooling.
Oh, he was broke. He made it.
Oh, where did you get a crazy idea like that?
Where did you get those great, big, beautiful lies?
Then be serious.
But I am. We're engaged, aren't we?
Oh, stop that. Listen. If I don't have that key back by midnight, he's come back to kill me.
Get out of sight. Get out of sight. I'll take care of it. There were two of them. Neither one was Johnny the Thief. They brushed past me and entered the room without a word and stood there with their faces hanging out. While we were giving each other the silent treatment, I sized them up. The larger size I recognized from newspaper pictures. He was a big sand and gravel man, and rumor had it that a stretch of paving outside the town contained the bodies of 18 other sand and gravel men who had bid against him for the contract and stumbled into a rock crusher. Name? Mike Malloy. The musician with him put his viola case down on the sofa and opened it up.
No. This isn't the man, Nathan.
What's that what he's doing here?
Finish that comic book I bought for you.
Okay, Rock Crusher.
Mr. Spade, I told Miss Farr to hire you. Had any trouble? Not yet. Good. I brought along my bodyguard here just in case. Where is Miss Farr? I sent her to the movies. Why, of course. You see Johnny the Thief? Yeah, he dropped in. He didn't make any trouble? No. Is he supposed to? There's no point in our talking in circles, Mr. Spade. Johnny the Thief worked for me. Nathan was here with one of his men, wasn't he?
Why bring that up?
You see, things have changed. Johnny isn't the man he used to be. But I've always taken care of those who served me loyally. I thought we weren't talking in circles. Believe me, Mr. Spade, I only want to save Johnny from himself. Is he threatening to jump into one of your rock crushes?
Watch that boy. He's got a sense of humor.
I'm sorry I say his fear. I was misinformed about you, Mr. Spade. I was led to believe that you were the man to help my fiancée and myself out of this embarrassing situation. Your fiancée? Wanda? Miss Fox? Yes?
Yes, it's fiancé.
I'll be absolutely frank with you, Spade. I had hoped by bringing you and Johnny the Thief together under circumstances that you might be forced to kill him in self-defense, or my apologies. It would have been the merciful way out for Johnny, and it would have saved many lives. I know Johnny the Thief. He will try to get back on top. He'll stop at nothing. I believed them, and it was no mistake. That's why I almost hoped they didn't know where Johnny was, but they did. After they left Wanda's apartment, they crossed the street and went into the neon-lighted bar and grill. The time I got downstairs, they were on their way out again with Johnny in the middle. He didn't look like he wanted to go, but they dragged him into Malloy's limousine, and he went. I did, too. Embarcadero at the Harbor View Hotel. The time I got into the lobby, Johnny and his two guards had disappeared up a ratty-looking flight of stairs. I started up after them, but then I stopped cold. When I got to the top of the stairs, I saw where the number 1 berth was gone. It had raked the ceiling and taken every light bulb in the corridor. I could see the flashes from the Tommy gun as somebody backed into the hall from one of the rooms, still pumping lead.
I'm gonna die! Hurry up and die! I'm gonna get out of here! Hey! Hey, who's that? Who's that?
He either saw or heard me. I flopped down on my belly and tried to work my way into the 10th of an inch nap in the crummy carpet. I made like I'd been hit, but I couldn't quite manage the death rattle. When I heard the gunman run down the hall toward the rear of the building, I rose courageously to my hands and knees and crawled the rest of the way down the corridor and looked into the smoke-filled room. The air tasted like burned powder, but it smelled like blood. I swallowed my insides and went in. There were 8 of them. I'll spare you the details, Dundee. You saw them after they were cleaned up. I needed some fresh air, and I needed it quick. Huh?
Sam, what's the matter with you?
Sick.
Oh, poor darling. What was that place, Sam? Why were you there?
Why were you?
Oh, you poor baby. I came after you.
Shut up. I want some answers. I don't want explanations. I don't want excuses. And if I catch you using what you know you do to me to snake your way out of this one, I'll...
What have I done to you tonight? This first Johnny, then Mike, and now you.
You're starting again. It's the last time.
Sam, I'm sorry. What do you want to know?
Are you in love with Johnny?
But I told you no.
Mike Malloy?
No.
You gonna marry Malloy?
What was in that room?
8 dead men.
What else?
A lot of blood and powder smoke.
Now ask me if I'm going to marry Malloy.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. I'll see you later, Angel. Oh, say, I was just leaving. Come back later. You're not leaving, and I'm not coming back later. Get back in the room.
Now, listen here, Spade. I hired you as a bodyguard for my fiancée, Miss Parr. What do you come off pushing your way in here with a gun like this? I can have your license revoked so fast to make your head swim.
Help yourself. I'm a little sick of this business.
Spade, I warn you, stay out of this.
What's that?
You know Johnny the Geek.
Hello, Johnny. Somebody gave you a working order. Can you talk? What's this for, Malloy?
Ask Johnny, he knows.
All right, I will. You move over here where I can watch you. Keep your hands behind your neck and relax.
That is going to cost you more than your life.
Shut up! Now, Johnny, listen to me. This is important. Move your right hand to yes. You framed yourself in the breaking and entry rap to cool off from a bigger one, right? Okay, I see it, Johnny. Murder? No. Robbery? Mm-hmm. How big? 5,000? 50? 500,000. That payroll job. Bakersfield, December 1944. That right, Johnny?
If I go through with this farce, I can give it to you. Do you think it'll do you any good?
I promise you it won't.
Johnny got himself fed up on that 3 to 5 year rap, partly for the reason you say, and partly because he didn't want to divvy with the rest of the boys. He cooked up this transparent scheme of his, this gold key, that hotel room to throw us off the track. I could think the loot was hidden there.
You sure it isn't?
Positive. I bought that hotel and ripped it to pieces, room by room.
So you cooked up a couple of pretty crude schemes of your own to sweat it out of Johnny. First, you thought you could goad him into killing me. When that didn't work, you had your boy Naples knock off the opposition boys into the peace mob so you could hold the whole massacre over his head.
Who do you think you could settle that story to?
I think I'll start with you. Save your laughs until you feel better, Johnny. Don't get jumpy. I know it's me. I'll talk to him in the other room.
What do you think you're trying to do? Hey!
All right, leave it there, Naples.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Where's the boy?
Out.
What do you want?
I want to talk to you, pigeon.
Where's the picture?
Nobody but you, Naples. If you think somebody else is going up for that slaughter in room 322.
Johnny got them guys. That's the boy.
I asked the boss. He says you did.
You're bluffing.
Johnny bargained for a written statement by Malloy alibying Johnny. The cops have got it now. They'll believe it. Malloy's a big citizen, so you're the only pigeon left.
But refuse me. Where is he?
Wait here. I'll bring him to you. I left Naples standing there in the vestibule waiting for Malloy. Then I hoisted Johnny out of my back and left Malloy waiting for Naples. He went out the back way. I rang for the freight elevator and watched the floor indicator moving around. I believe it was between 6 and 7 when I heard a familiar sound from the Malloy apartment.
Oh, you're all right. Sit down here. Oh, I've been worried sick.
What about? Malloy, Johnny, me, with a half minute.
Johnny, did Malloy find you?
Malloy's dead.
Johnny?
Johnny can't talk. He's in the hospital.
Can't talk.
No, but I can.
Sam, no, you didn't have anything to do with Malloy dying.
As much as anybody.
But you were so... Oh, no, I just don't see you.
You'd rather with Malloy?
I think you in the feet. Oh, you just had to see it. Oh, I waited so long for you, hold me. Darling, I think of all you've been through for me. I wonder if I might.
I won.
But you and everything, and the money, too. Oh, I've never dreamed there'd be anything as perfect as this. It's just too good to be true.
Yeah, you're so right, sweetheart. You're so exactly right. I didn't tell her I didn't have the heart. We talked some more and toasted some marshmallows. Well, anyway, what I'm getting at, Sunday, is this. Some jerk from the DA's office informs me that you want her for questioning as an accessory before the fact. In my opinion, this angle of the case requires more personal research, and with all modesty, I think that I am the man for the job and will be as long as she thinks I have the $500,000. And if I do have it, Lieutenant, watch out for your badge. Period. And it will be.
Whoa. What?
Yes, sir.
Well, have you?
Have I what, Eddie? The $500,000?
Oh, heavens forbid me. How can you be so calm about it?
Type that up, sweetheart. Search every nook and cranny for Treasury hawkshaws, and I'll give you a full account. Private, of course.
Here it is, Sam. Oh, this is a mess, and it's all your fault. I'm just a mess of nerves worrying about that money. How could we explain it to Mother and Mr. Babcock at the bank?
Hang, Mr. Baxter.
And besides, Sam, it's not ours now. Nothing was excuses. And if that girl loves you, just for your money.
Worry no more, my sweet. Happy. Can you see the ticket?
You're giving it back already? Oh, of course you would.
Want the rat?
Then who did? Where is it, Sam?
Listen, my dear, there never was any $500,000 as far as Johnny Batiste. He didn't have anything to do with that robber. He invented the whole caper, including the hocus pocus about the gold key. Now you ask me why?
Why?
To keep himself out of Malloy's rock crushing, you see. While he was resting safely for 3 years in San Quentin, Malloy was driving himself crazy, following that gold key and trying to dig up $500,000 that wasn't even there. He figured by the time he got out, Malloy would be crazy enough to overplay his hand. And he was right. What's left of it?
Well, Sam, if you ask me, it wasn't the gold key that drove Malloy crazy.
Oh?
I better not say it. It's not my place to advise. You know what I mean. Good night, sir.
Good night, Mother.
Welcome back. So we get kind of a recurring theme here with Sam Spade, and harkens back to the novel with criminals committing all sorts of despicable acts for a prize that ultimately doesn't exist. Martin Grams, in his book on the radio series, notes that even though we don't have the closing credits, it's unlikely that William Spear directed this episode himself, since on the day that the program aired, he got married to June Havoc. And in the book, Graham said that when Spear didn't direct, that Elliot Lewis, who was a buddy of Howard Duff in the Army, with a very similar sounding voice and also a great radio acting career, would actually fill in for Spear. So it's likely that this episode was directed by Elliot Lewis. And we turn to YouTube, and a comment regarding our 3800th episode special from Eileen regarding the end of The Glass Key. That ending, his last lines were kind of out of place with the rest of the script. There was nothing but hate, contempt, and veiled civility the entire time. And I think that's referring to his relationship throughout the story with the senator's daughter. And I think that there is some truth to that. There's not a whole lot of indication of romantic attraction. Even in the book, there's minimal indication. Our hero, Ned, has issues with how the senator's daughter is being used to lead Paul on, get him to support the senator's campaign, and sees it as a really bad match that she's not going to go through with. And he also really hates the rumors that she spreads out by sending malicious letters indicating that Paul committed the murders. Now, one thing the book includes that I don't think the radio adaptation captures is that they kind of teamed up towards the end, with Ned leading her to believe that they were going to prove Paul had committed the killing, only for a last-minute twist to reveal the real killer. In a way, I think the senator's daughter really was a character that, if you look at it at a high level, despite how Ned felt about it at the time, she really did behave, I think, in a very human way, as opposed to all of the very calculating and ruthless people that dominated the story. When it came to leading on Paul, this was the senator's idea, and, he invited Paul over and, did his best to facilitate it, but she just would not have any of it. She would not pretend that there was really a chance. And essentially, the idea that Paul had of him and the senator's daughter getting together was entirely in his own mind, led by the senator. And even her sending the malicious letters, while it wasn't something that was appropriate, you don't accuse people of murder without hard evidence. And there's something slightly, very dishonest about the way she sent them. But she was sending them out of concern for justice for her brother, who was killed. And I think in both cases, this was not something that was politically indicated, and she came from a very political family. And she was the only, or one of the few people, I think, in the story who placed human personal needs and what was right for herself and her family personally above what would be politically expedient. And her and Ned both shared that sense that political power wasn't the most important thing. Yet I think that it really defined everyone else in their social group in the city. You had, in the book, city officials, thinking about prosecuting Paul, trying to distance themselves not because they thought he was guilty, but because they were concerned that if they didn't do something, it would be a drag on their entire ticket. And you had other people who were trying to get Paul just for political reasons. Ned was acting out of his personal loyalty and friendship for Paul, even after concluded that sooner or later Paul was going to lose political power, that he was not adapting to changing times and situations. But he hung around to make sure that they didn't throw a noose over his neck. And Janet, Senator's daughter, was acting out of personal loyalty to her brother. So while they clashed because they had similar values. So I find them just sitting together at the end to be believable, despite the lack of real spark in the book throughout most of its length. I also think you have to think about the times that they were in. It's the 1930s, and the way things ended for the senator's daughter was not good. Her, social position, family situation, all essentially wiped out. Now, as a single woman who's not worked probably at all in your life, do you really want to start all alone on your own? Or do you want to take a chance on this guy who is attracted to you? I think in that context, it does make even more sense. If you were writing a story about the 60s or 70s, maybe the relationship doesn't quite go there. But I think writing where it's set, it does make sense. Though I'm not certain the radio version conveys that. But thanks so much for the comment, Eileen. Now it's time to thank our Patreon supporter of the day. Thank you to Chris, Patreon supporter since June of 2015, currently supporting the program at the detective sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Again, thank you so much for your support. Well, that will do it for today. If you are enjoying this podcast, be sure to rate and review it wherever you download your podcast from. We will be back next Monday with another episode of The Adventures of Sam Spade. And a week from Tuesday, we will be playing a rare series for 1 week. This is O'Shea. In the meantime, do send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/Great Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.